Hello everyone, it's Danny. Welcome back to my channel. How is everyone doing? I'm doing pretty well right at the moment. Today is the first day back from school holidays. It is the 6th of October. I'm supposed to be getting some work done today, but I just did school drop off and my son has a dental appointment at 10 o'clock, which means I have about half an hour at home, not really enough time to get focused on work. So I'm just going to quickly film my layout share for July through to the end of September. So the third quarter of 2020. I have a pretty full tub here, pretty much full to the brim. I'm not going to be able to show you all of these because again, they are design team layouts and they haven't been released yet, but that's just the way it goes. I'll tuck them away for the next share. So let's tip this bad boy out. I'm actually really pleased with the progress I made this quarter. There's quite a lot in here. I did go for quite a while there of not scrapping at all, but then I had a bit of a binge in September. So let's count them up. This was the one I couldn't show you from last year, so I can't count that one. Ah, what? 30. 30, right on the money again. Pretty sure I did 30 last time as well. This was my layout for the Unscrapped Bundle of Joy series for August. This is a series I do with Melissa Vining. We scrap our baby photos. It's just a really simple chevron pattern with a wood grain and a white background. Lots of stitching, lovely stitching texture, very simple embellishment, a few splatters, very soft and delicate. This is one I just made for no reason in particular. It's one of the papers from the One Canoe 2 Twilight paper pad. So I literally just fussy cut the whole background, all the florals off the background, and popped them up on adhesive foam, and I did a mixed media background on this pink cardstock. So the pink is pretty much the same color as the background paper was on the original paper, so I've just added some gold glitter paste through a stencil. You can see the glitter there, hopefully. A bunch of white splatters. I will do a close-up so you can see a bit better there, and then lots of dimension. So that's all popped up on foam. Took me quite a while, but I'm really happy with the results. Really pretty. This is one that I had planned to make a layout with, but now I really don't know where I would put a photo, and there's a lot going on, so I think I might actually use this as a decor piece for my craft room. I just really like it as is. This is one I made for the Confessions of a Paper Addict Cut Files design team using the Build a Christmas Village, I think it's called. There is a process for this up on my channel, so I just took the little houses and cut out a bunch of them and backed them. Made a little snowy hillside out of some specialty paper, it's really textured. Added some little fussy cut trees and some gingerbread houses that were die cuts, and got a little bit messy in the background. I love how this turned out, so cute. This was for Scrap the Boys. I can't remember which month. I want to say August. Yeah, it would have been August, the floral challenge. So I just fussy cut another One Canoe 2 paper, cut all the florals off it. This is just a plain peach background. Did some stamping. This is a navy ink with a floral stamp, and then I did some white butterflies with white embossing powder. Again, a few splatters and some enamel dots and a bit of journaling. This was again for Confessions of a Paper Addict using the little mini Polaroids and the florals. I can't remember what the name of the cut file is, but there is a process for this one on my channel as well. Using Pebbles Hey Hello. I did some white texture paste. This is through a floral stencil. Back the cut file. Put some teeny tiny photos in some of these little Polaroid frames. And lots of embellishing. Lots of little bits and pieces to look at. I really love this one. I love the colors. And I love these photos. Sweet little girl. I think this was for Coco Vanilla Studio for the design team. It's definitely using the Happiness collection anyway. I used this beautiful mixed media background. I added some, it's probably hard to see, I added some iridescent texture paste. You can kind of see it there, it's all pearly. Yeah, there we go. Did a few splatters and some spritzing, which I don't usually do, but it turned out really nice on this one. This is the Layered Butterflies cut file from Confessions of a Paper Addict, I'm pretty sure. Very minimal embellishment. I was really, really happy with this one. This was for Audrey Yeager's Summer Scrapping series. I did a fun mixed media background. This is one of my favorite mixed media backgrounds ever, actually. I think this was from, this is using mostly Amy Tan, Stay Sweet, and Pebbles Oh Summertime. A white texture paste through a stencil. Then I did some blue watercolors and some Distress Oxides and a bunch of different colors. And then I went over with my white glitter gel and just scraped that over the top really roughly, and it turned out super sparkly. Look how pretty that is. So you get all that texture from the white texture paste underneath, all the color from the watercolor, and then that sparkly glitter paste. I love that background so much. Really simple layout otherwise, just kind of a modified grid and a minimal embellishment. This was for Confessions of a Paper Addict again. I love this one. I used really thin background paper though, so that was a mistake, but I think it'll do all right. So it's a floral background that I backed with vellum. There are a couple of tutorials up on my channel for this one. I have the process video and then how I backed this cut file. So it's pretty much all backed with vellum except for the center of the flowers and the ladybugs. Did some splatters on the background, and then I just did some minimal embellishment around my photo and these little bees and ladybugs as well. Love this one, so sweet. This was for the Secret Not Secret Kit Club telephone game hop. I think I was third in line to have a go at this layout, so the process is on my channel. So I was basically scrap lifting the persons before me layout. So I did a couple of borders on the paper, again using Amy Tan's Stay Sweet and Pebbles Oh Summertime. I have those two together in a summertime themed kit. A very horizontal design, 2 photos, 2 journal cards. I did a little bit of texture paste on this one as well, and some Nuvo drops. Love that one, so bright and happy. This was for Cocoa Vanilla using a Copic Cut File. So I actually colored my vellum with that iridescent texture. I painted it with that iridescent texture gel, and it's not really texture gel, it's just an iridescent gel medium. And I love how it turned out. It's just made that super iridescent vellum that I've seen other people use, but I made it myself. So I'm really happy with that. So I backed all the clouds with that, and then I backed the suns and the rainbows with the Legendary collection, and the background paper and everything else is from that collection as well. 3 photos. I love multi-photo layouts. Quite a few enamel dots, a little bit of journaling here. I also did, again, that spritz with the Distress Oxide Spray in Speckled Egg, and I really love how the oxide sprays spritz. They spritz really nicely. So I love this one. I love them all. I'm really happy with all of these actually. I've been really enjoying scrapping lately. So I think this one, yes, this one was for Copic Cut Files again. So this is one of the autumn leaf background cut files. So it's the border and then the strips and the leaves, and I went ahead and stitched all the lines with embroidery thread and then some sequins as well. This is using a Hip Kit Club kit that I got from their sale. 2 photos of me and some of my very best friends. I love these girls. I don't see them very often anymore. We were eating some fairy floss and pulling some silly faces here. I really love this one. I'm so happy with it. This one is probably one of my favorite layouts I've ever made, full stop. This is also one of my favorite photos ever of my beautiful little girl at my son's birthday last year, his 5th birthday. So for Cocoa Vanilla Studio, using the new Daydream collection, which is just delicious, I took the rainbow pattern paper and I fussy cut with a craft knife all the rainbows. So this is the paper that I cut the rainbows from, but I backed this paper where the holes were with navy blue cardstock, you can see that. And then I popped all the rainbows up on foam so you can still see the background cardstock peeking through. It gives extra dimension, it makes everything look super 3D, even more so in real life than on camera. And then I just did some very minimal embellishments because it didn't need much more, and a nice big title. I love this one. This was again for Cocoa Vanilla Studio. I think I made quite a few layouts in a row with this new collection. It was just beautiful. It is stunning. So one of the papers comes with a wreath as part of the pattern. So I fussy cut the wreath out. Took me a long time. I went in with a craft knife and did all the interior parts as well. So it was a labor of love, but look at this layout. Oh, isn't it beautiful? I'm so pleased with it. It might sound like I'm tooting my own horn, but yeah, it made me really happy to make this. So I added in all these little leaves are die cuts from the pattern paper. So some of them I used my die cutting machine, my manual die cutting machine to cut out. And then some of these are cut files, the little leaves that I've done on my silhouette. And I've just stuck those in all the way around the wreath to make it more full. Did a bunch of mixed media on the background, as you can see. A bunch of sequins, a bunch of these little butterflies. I went kind of crazy with this layout. There's a lot on there. 2 photos. I'm really pleased with it. There's a lot going on, but I love it. This was another one for Copic Cut Files using kind of a homemade kit. It's mostly Mimosa Sunday by Rosie Studio, but I do have a few Kaiser Craft papers. I don't really like the Rosie Studio papers, so it's kind of a hodgepodge, but I used this So Happy cut file. It's like a string banner of little Polaroids and florals, and this large one, I cut off the cut file in my Silhouette Studio design software and blew it up and then put my photo inside and like added it to the banner. So I'm really pleased with how this turned out. really simple otherwise, just a bunch of splatters, and I did a bit of paper tearing at the top and bottom just to make it a little more interesting. I love those happy colors. This is an 8.5 by 11, 9 by 12 layout. It's A4. I feel like I always have to explain this. It's right in between those two sizes, but this is just, I think I made this for a hop. Yeah, for the Just a Girl hop. It was supposed to be Just a Girl Who Loves, but I blanked the prompt and put and her instead, but it's close enough, I think. So this was a layout documenting my love of a good cup of tea, a daydream collection layout. Like I said, I can't get enough. So it's quite simple. It is a smaller layout, so I couldn't cram too much on there. I used the Sweet Tea cut file from Copic Cut Files and made a little shaker pocket with it. I love all those sequins in there. This Coca Vanilla Studio collection came with a sequin pack, which I just adore because I love sequins. So I have done a bit of mixed media in the background. I've stitched around the edge. I've added my title in. I didn't have much room left after that, so I just added a few little florals here and here, and then some butterflies, and that's my layout done. I was happy with that. I think it's really pretty. This was made for the Coca Vanilla Studio monthly challenge. Each month, one of the design team members designs a mood board, and everyone can enter for a chance to win a shop voucher. So I think it was September was my turn to design the mood board. So I made a garden party theme, and this is the layout I made inspired by that mood board. So this is me and my husband at our baby shower for my firstborn. A beautiful sunny day. It was in a friend's garden. We had lunch and cupcakes and whatnot, so it was very suitable for this layout. I use the cafe cut file from Copic Cut Files. Again, I do use a lot of cut files. I just find I don't know, they make a page really easy to use. I don't have to think about it. Did a few splatters, a bit of paper tearing, and then I built a little garden bed down here from Fussy Cut Florals. I'm really pleased with how that turned out. Super pretty. This was for Scrap the Boys for the September Mixed Media Challenge, which unfortunately I was late for. So my layout did not make it onto the vlog. That is totally my own fault. I still went ahead and made the layout, and there is a process video for this. A few torn layers, lots of mixed media, again using a Hip Kit Club, my autumn themed kit, and some One Canoe 2 Twilight bits and pieces. I love how this turned out. Look at the shine and the sparkle on that mixed media. So cool. Okay, another smaller layout that I've actually lost an alpha for, so I'll have to go back and try and find that and add some more glue. That's supposed to say Tamar. The river cruise we went on our honeymoon, again for Copic Cut Files. Oh, there it is, look. That's lucky. So I'll have to go through and glue all those alphas on. So I used the rowboat cut file, just back that was really simple. I've done some torn paper down here to look like water, and then I've added some, I'll try and get it so you can see. I've added some white glitter gel, really chunky. So I used my spatula, my palette knife, and just kind of globbed it on there, really chunky, on the white parts of the water and on the oars and around the stern and the bow of the boat. So you can see there. Hopefully my camera's not liking this focus, but hopefully you can somewhat see it. And then I pushed some through a stencil as well, just a spotty stencil down here on the water and then up the top here. Really love how that turned out. It turned out way better than I was expecting, actually. This one was for the Scrappy Sisters and Laura Albert's Scrap Timber series this year. I chose the hexagon prompt and made one of probably the best layouts I've ever made. I really love this. It's so simple, but it turned out so beautifully. I'm really, really happy with it. So I started with a Vicky Bouton pre-made mixed media background. So there's 4 large chunks of color behind there that you can't really see, and like these drips are part of that background. All the big yellow splatters are mine, and the little gold splatters are mine as well. So I just went through with a big lots of wet watercolor on a big paintbrush and dripped it on, and then the gold splatters just kind of normal, and all the hexagons are hand cut. So it was actually easier than I thought it would be to get them pretty uniform, considering they're all different sizes and they're all hand cut. Yeah, it turned out really well. I do have a process video for this, so you can go see how I did it. Definitely possible to get a layout like this without a silhouette or like a die cutting machine at all. You can do it just with a pair of scissors. So I used quite a few of the scraps I had from the Pebbles Hey Hello collection. Some extra papers just out of my stash, and some of the very few embellishments I have left to create some clusters. I actually had enough E's left to spell out sweet, which I can't believe. So yeah, just some sprinkly bits, these little hearts. I really love this one, it's so lovely. This one was for Copic Cut Files using some of my Magical Forest collection. I used a white background, which I just think I probably will do for most of the layouts I make with this collection, because most of the stickers are clear and I'm just really struggling to use them otherwise. And I'm not really a white background kind of person. I do talk about that in this process video as well. I have lots of photos on this one. I got 4 photos on all of my sweet little violet. I used the Autumnal XO cut file, which is gorgeous. I love how that turned out, especially on black. It turned out so nicely. I think this time of year, once it starts cooling down and you start using those darker colors, black cardstock for cutting your cut files is so much fun. I do tend to use a lot of navy as well. So I just backed the cut file and I added my photos. Obviously there wasn't a lot of room left, but it did make a little scene inside the O here, which I really love. I'm really pleased with that. I have to say those clear stickers did turn out well there. And then just a very little sort of, I didn't really do clusters, I just kind of embellished little bits and pieces all the way around. I'm really pleased with it. This was another Copic Cut Files one. I think I made a few in a row. So this is the Pink Fresh Studio, just a little lovely collection. I used the Inner Blossoms cut file. It's just white cut out, it's not backed. All I did was go over the top of it with my palette knife and my white glitter gel, which I've just been loving. I've been using it to death lately. It just really punches up that white cut file, makes it a little less just boring. I just did some white splatters on the background. I wanted it to be very soft. It is a wedding layout. My colors are, as you can see, very pale pink. This was the brightest color that I had in my wedding, and it was pretty much only in my bouquet and a couple of the other flowers. So everything was very pastel, very light. It was a bright sunny day in a garden, so yeah, I just wanted to keep it nice and light. So I've added a few little floral clusters here, some little embossed butterflies, some little homemade enamel bits and pieces, just a couple of soft layers behind my photo, and a very unobtrusive title just here. I love this one. This was for Scrap the Boys for October. It was a Halloween challenge, so I did a multi-photo layout with some unusual sizes. I did some tall, skinny photos. So these are obviously mobile phone photos that I'd zoomed in quite a lot, so I couldn't crop them down anymore and make him a wider size without actually chopping off his head or his little feet. And if you look really closely, you can see he's got little dinosaur feet as part of his costume, so I wasn't about to chop those off. They're too freaking cute, way too cute. This was 2017, he was only 3. It was his first trick-or-treat experience. He was just so cute and so happy. And that little dinosaur costume he still wears now. It's far too small, but you know, I'm never throwing it away. So this is another Copic Cut Files cut file. It's actually the Rawsome birthday cut file. He usually has a little candle sticking out of his head, but I cut that off in the Silhouette Studio, and he's just the perfect cute little dinosaur for this layout. So I've used the Simple Stories Happy Haunting collection. Once I got the cut file and the photos on, there wasn't a lot of room left, and I did want to use this big title because I've had it in my stash forever and it needed to get on a layout. So there wasn't a lot of space for embellishing, so I've just done 3 small clusters here and here. Love that. Now this is one I made for the Secret Not Secret Kit Club scrap party. The prompt was Your Town, so I really was keen to scrap lift a layout I've seen Jess from the Scrappy Sisters do recently with 2x2 squares, very much like this. So I totally scrap lifted her, but she just went through and literally piled up a bunch of 2x2 squares, distressed all the edges. That makes your background, there's really nothing left to do. So I loved this paper from the Simple Stories Happy Haunting. It was just all 2x2 cut aparts, so I went through, cut them all out. Had a lot of fun rearranging them all so that they weren't two the same color next to each other. I think I got them pretty evenly spaced. Did most of it in front of the TV, I'll be honest. I've got a big photo and I journaled all the way around the outside. White cardstock background, and I have put some black splatters in the back as well. These two will actually probably go together. I think they're from the same year. Yeah, they are. So they'll go side by side this way, probably. This one was for Cocoa Vanilla Studio. It was a Throwback Thursday layout. So I went into my midnight stash and pulled out this beautiful Sunset gradient pattern paper, and I actually used this cut file, but I used the negative. So all the pieces left behind on the cutting mat, I just carefully transferred those over using the cut file, the original cut file as a guide, and just glued them all onto the background paper. Did a bunch of splatters in navy gold and spun sugar distress oxide, which is a light pink. There's a couple of some vellum and some paper back here, just torn layers. A nice big title and just a couple of small floral clusters. Didn't need to embellish too much because I made such an impactful background. Of course, I scrapped a sunset photo. I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. I love these colors. I love this whole collection. This was for Copic Cut Files again, using the treasure map cut file. I've been looking for an excuse to use this cut file ever since it came out, which was back in July, I'm pretty sure. And finally we did. So my son's school did a Talk Like a Pirate Day to raise money for kids with cancer. So all the kids dressed up like pirates, and of course, even as I was taking the photos, I was thinking about this cut file. So I cut it out on black, I backed all the little bits and pieces individually, and then I backed the map with this cool script paper. Could have been made for this cut file, I was so pleased with it. And then I hand stitched in the little treasure trail. I'm really pleased with how that turned out. Just a few small embellishment clusters. I didn't really even need those, to be honest. There's so much going on the background. I really love that. This is another one I made for the Secret Not Secret Kit Club scrap party. So one of the challenges was to use scraps, and it was also a sketch challenge. So I used a bunch of the branding strips from the Pebbles Hey Hello collection. I just adore how this turned out. It was really simple because I was following a sketch. I did just a plain white background, but I added some mixed media. I think, is it watercolor? Can't actually remember what I did on the background. I didn't film this because it was basically just a scrap lift and I was trying to just relax and enjoy some scrapping. So it's just a bunch of branding strips all laid up, and then I ran my sewing machine through and did a couple of lines of stitching, and I've done a zigzag stitch in some areas. Again, just using up all those last little bits and pieces I had left from this collection. So some of the papers back here, all just scrappy bits, a few little embellishments, and I had a bunch of these tags left, so I put this one on this layout because of best friends. Makes perfect sense with this photo. This was the day we bought my son, who's Big Ted, and you can just see in his face he was in absolute love. So really simple. This layout was my unscrapped bundle of joy for September, and again using Magical Forest, except the background paper. This is Kaiser Craft, so it's a multi-photo layout. This is my baby daughter, just newborn. I think this was the day after she was born. Yep, the next day, and my son was meeting her for the first time and falling in head over heels in love with her. So he was so happy to be a big brother. He loved her from the moment he first saw her and has loved her ever since. So I just love these photos. His little face, he's so happy. So I used some of the cut apart sheet, this big piece and this little piece here from that. Some of these larger die cut pieces from the die cut pack. This is a large sticker, so it's kind of like a modified grid layout in a vertical orientation. Quite a simple layout, but it didn't take me too long to do, and I'm really happy with it. So I just did a nice big title here and some just little embellishment clusters here and here. So this was also combined with the Secret Not Secret Kit Club challenge. So it was a storybook challenge, and we had to do 5 things on the layout. I'm trying to think what. Something blue, and you can see I put a few blue moths, a little blue heart and some blue paper layers. The word sweet, so I put this little sticker in that says so sweet here. Gold, so my alphas are gold and so are the splatters on the background. There we go, there's some gold. So there are some gold splatters on the background. Something small, so I put in these teeny tiny floral clear stickers. Just quite a few of those tucked around. And then the last thing was your favorite embellishment, and mine are either, I want to say, enamel dots or puffy stickers are my favorites. So I did put some little puffies on. So this little one here, this little heart and this little rainbow are all puffy, but really sweet layout, really happy with that. This is another one I made for the Secret Not Secret Kit Club challenges. I didn't film this one either. I did this sitting on the sofa watching TV. So it was another sketch challenge. I pretty much just copied the sketch. So I had a bunch of these tags left from the Hey Hello Pebbles collection. Some of these are only half tags, so like this one actually cuts off right around here, and I think this is only like the top half. I tried to use everything I could on this layout to get those bits used up, because even though they're not full pieces, you can't tell on this layout, so it worked really well to get those used. So I've just stuck those up. I've put thread in 3 of them. I haven't done all the eyelets with twine because that would have been a bit much, I think. This background paper is from, pretty sure this is from the Maggie Holmes Carousel paper pad. I used a few of the floral die cuts and fussy cut pieces that I had left here and here. This little guy finally got on a page. Quite a few of these little love heart stickers. I think my very last 2 ladybugs. And like this piece is from the packaging from the collection, so I'm really, yeah, I think I've used up all my scraps now, so that's really nice. I think the very last few paper scraps I had on here as photo mats. It really feels good to use up every last little scrap of the collection. And then these alphas, it was difficult to actually get a title together because I'd used so many of the vowels and like the T's and the N's. Yeah, I think, yeah, I wanted to put like getting messy, but I only had one T, and then I only had one S, or not enough S's. So I finally managed to put together Painty Fun. So he's finger painting here. So that was exciting, being able to pull a full title out finally after quite a lot of messing around. But I'm really happy with this one as well. It's really happy, really bright colors, love that. So this is for Copic Cut Files, an amazing, incredible cut file. As soon as I saw it, I gasped out loud and said, I'm using that. I don't care what else there is, I'm using that. A couple of us have made layouts with this. Virginia made one that looked incredible. I've made this one that I am just in love with. But basically I used this background paper was already pre-done. I haven't done all this mixed media, I promise. I haven't done that much work on it. This is from the One Canoe 2 paper pad, so I popped that on as the background. Did some splatters up here. It's just silver, I think, the liquid text one. Did the moon in holographic paper, these little bats of stickers. Obviously I cut the cut file in black, and I literally just backed everything in grey. So all the path, these brick columns, and like the little crypt and the gravestones are all just backed in the same paper. So even though it looks very intricate, I didn't do that much backing. It's all the one paper, and then obviously I didn't have to back the fence at all. And this part is just backed all with the one paper. So everything else is from the Simple Stories Happy Haunting collection. These little pumpkins come with the cut file, as does the moon. So, you know, you get everything, all these extra little gravestones. So I put some little extra gravestone stickers in here, this little pumpkin, and just a few little florals. And really that's all I had to do because there was so much going on with the cut file already. So there's very minimal embellishment. So it actually didn't take as long as you might think, but look how amazing it looks. I'm so happy with it. This photo is 2018 Halloween, me and my son and my daughter. She's dressed up as a little pumpkin, which fits in perfectly with this layout. Really, really pleased with that one. This is for Cocoa Vanilla Studio. Using the cut apart sheet. It's actually funny because I actually had a free theme. Like I could just make whatever I wanted this week, but the weekly product focus was the cut apart sheet, and I didn't even look at that. So I inadvertently tied in with what everyone else was doing, which was fine. It's just kind of funny that that just happened by accident. But I've had this cut out for a while, this piece that comes on the cut apart sheet, and it's like a little wooden frame, and it has like a beige oval on the inside. And so as soon as I saw it, I thought it would be perfect as a little photo frame. So I actually went in and just fussy cut really carefully all the way around the frame and then around these little florals at the bottom. So it was quite tricky to do that. I had to use a craft knife because I, you know, couldn't cut through the side with a pair of scissors. But I've had this sitting there for a while wanting to use it on a photo, and I found the perfect photo for it. This lovely photo of my sweet little girl laughing and smiling. She's so happy, even though she's got this dummy in her mouth, but you can see in her eyes and her face she's laughing and having a great old time. So that fits so perfectly in the little frame that I also had the rest of the cut apart sheet sitting there, so I just sort of stacked things up together, and yeah, they looked really pretty, so I just went with it. I've distressed all the edges, and I've done some soft mixed media in the background, just in pinks and blues. Added in quite a few of these little hearts and this little heart flare, so sweet. And then I backed the whole thing on this rainbow stripe, which is such a pretty paper. I did gut it out, so I saved the centerpiece, but that's that one. So that was 30 layouts, which is pretty good for me, really. I'm pretty pleased with that. And then I also made this card. So this is one I made for World Card Making Day in the Cocoa Vanilla Studio design team. We all made a card to celebrate that day, which was, I think, the 3rd of October or the 4th. 3rd of October. So I made a fun fold card. I'll just zoom in a bit. There is a process video for this on my channel already, but so it's just an accordion fold like that with three separate layers of embellishments. So when it's sat on a desk or a table, it looks all 3D and layered. It's super cool, really easy to do, really easy fold, and then you just really stick a bunch of embellishments on it and call it good. So I used mostly die cuts. I did get on a few of the paper flowers and one of the puffy hearts. Really pleased with this. I'll probably never give it to anyone. It's been sitting on my shelf looking super pretty, and yeah, I can't imagine parting with it. So it's probably just going to be decoration for me now, to be honest. That's okay. I'm really happy with it. So that is everything. I really hope you enjoyed watching this layout share. As always, leave me a comment. Tell me which one was your favorite, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.